So we're working on balance, and we've started on our backs. And just feel the back of your head, your rib cage, and your pelvis connected to the mat. Palms can be down or up, whatever feels right and good to you. And again, let's just start rocking from your belly button to your tailbone. And as you breathe, with every exhale, I want you to let go of anything that doesn't serve you. Let go of what is not needed in your life. Let go of competition, judgment, expectation, anything that isn't good for you. And as you continue to move with your breath, and moving a little faster than a simple inhale and exhale, notice how when you bring your belly button towards the floor, there's no space between your body and the mat. What happens to the rest of your body? And then as you move your tailbone to the floor, what happens? And just moving in such a way that everything is nice and smooth and easy. Everybody's looking really good. Hopefully it's feeling really good. And I'd like to start class with a simple yoga exercise to help connect our individual self with our universal self, and also connect your creative side to your analytical side. So let your knees come together and feet apart so that you're comfortable laying in this position. And close your eyes, and you're going to bring, I'm going to come up so you can see me. You're going to bring your index finger and middle finger to the middle of your forehead, your third eye. And your thumb will be, I'm using my right hand, your thumb will be on your nostril. And you're going to inhale through your left nostril. And then as you cap your other nostril, your left nostril with your ring finger, inhale through your right nostril. So we're just alternating an inhale and exhale with your thumb and ring finger. So that's a lot of information. So the most important, easiest thing I can say is don't worry if you're doing it on the pattern I suggested. The most important thing is that you're breathing through your nostrils alternate. So you can do one breath, one nostril, the other breath, the other. And as you're doing this, notice how it's kind of tough to think about anything else. So a lot of times in our lives, we get ourselves so caught up, or we start ruminating about things. You don't have to do this in public, but it's a nice idea, even imagining alternate nostril breathing to help calm you, center you. And the nice added benefit of this is it also helps with the memory. So if you're trying to remember where you left your keys, take a moment and do some alternate nostril breathing. It usually works. So let's just do a couple more breaths. And obviously, if you're having a hard time breathing through your nose, you can add a little mouth breathing here. It's really a matter of just the focus and being aware of what's happening within you. So everybody can remove their hands and bring your hands back down to your hips. We're just going to bring our right leg up into tabletop, and then bring your left leg up to meet it. Notice how this feels to you. And for right now, I want you to bring your knees in, so all of a sudden you should feel your back pressing into the mat, and then bring your knees out a little. And now we're doing those pelvic tilts again. So by moving the knees, it naturally moves your pelvis. Or you could just focus on moving your pelvis and notice what happens to your knees. Now, can you find that neutral spine? So this is about neutral spine. I feel the back of my head, my rib cage, and my pelvis on the mat, but I can also tell that my back isn't pressing into the mat. If this is too much for you, keep your legs on the floor. So you can do either version. So I'll start easy. You just lift one leg at a time in a 90-degree angle. Or maybe bring both legs up and bring one leg down at a time. You'll notice that one version is a lot harder than the other. If you really feel pretty ambitious and you really want to feel more work, bring both feet down and up. And it's very challenging to maintain that neutral spine doing this version. Let's do one more. And then wrap your hands on top of your shins. And let's do our femur circle. So you're circling your legs in opposite directions. So when I bring my knees in towards my chest, I bring them out, both equally out, and then I bring them back in. So I'm making simultaneous circles with my knees. And then reverse it, bring the knees in and around. It should feel yummy. It should feel really good in your hips. So I'm seeing a couple people doing it together. So if you can see me, I'm not asking you to do this, where you're circling like this. I'm actually asking you to do this, where you're both, I'll show you from this angle so you can see better. So you're here and you're opening together, opening like this, and you could reverse it. So it's a little easier and you really get into your hip joints. So both legs go out. So your right leg goes right and your left leg goes left, and then you bring them to the center, and then you reverse it, both legs. Yes, that's it. Perfect. And then we're going to bring our legs together back into tabletop. Legs are together, shoulder blades are down. Let both legs go about 2 inches to the right, and look at your knees. Make sure they're stacked. Come back center, bring both legs 2 inches to the left, and let's continue side to side, feeling a rocking in your pelvis. If this feels okay, the next time you go to the right, extend your left leg straight, bend it, come center, go to the left, extend your right leg straight, bend it, come center, continue alternating it this way. So every version is an option. If it's too challenging to be up here, you could do the whole thing on the floor. And you could try both legs. I think it's a lot harder to do both legs from the floor. So it really is up to you. I would say the progression from the floor would be lifting up from one leg, if that makes sense. And then come center and bring your feet down to the mat and bring your hands up to the sky. Hug your shoulders down, feel your shoulder blades flatten to the ground, and then reach your hands to the ceiling. So we're just moving into the shoulder joint. We're lifting and lowering. It should feel really good. And then plug them in again and bring one arm behind you at a time. Now I'm showing different variations of this, so you can do anything that feels right to you in the moment. I'd love to encourage you to exhale as you bring those hands back so that you can maintain the neutral spine, and then maybe do some arm circles. And you could reverse them. Just make sure as you do this, it feels right to you. So even though I'm encouraging you to move, I also want you to be mindful of how the movement feels. So let's bring our hands down by our hips, bring your legs back up into tabletop, bring your arms up, and as you bring your left foot down, bring your right arm back and continue. And there's so many ways to do this. I like doing it like this. It feels nice and fluid. You could extend your legs a little more, making it more challenging. You could go back and in like this. So there's several options. There's nothing wrong as long as it feels right to you. Just a couple more. And then you could leave your legs in tabletop, wrap your hands around your hamstrings, And we're just gonna poke your legs and just lift your head a little bit. This is all I want you to do. And then roll back down. Exhale and lift and roll back down. If this bothers anybody in the neck, you can put a pillow under your head. So just want a little bit. Can you stay here? Keep this alignment. Again, you could always bring your head down. Now reach your hands here, and I just want you to pulse like this. Pulse your hands. So there's other options here. I want you to inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Rest. Whew, I hope you felt that. And that's an exercise in breathing. It's very hard to do that exercise and teach it. So we're going to do our femur circles for a tiny little break. And bring your feet to the wider edges of the mat and just slowly begin to windshield wiper your legs side to side. And notice where you feel it here. Maybe you feel your quadriceps or your inner thighs, whatever feels right and good to you here. And let both legs drop to the right for a moment. And maybe if your knee's okay with it, walk that left leg back a little. And I want you to imagine that you're pressing that thigh bone forward. And you should feel a stretch in the front of that left leg. As you inhale, release the leg and bring your legs back up and let both legs drop to the left. Same thing, if it feels okay, you can walk that right leg further right, but if you feel a strain in the knee, bring it closer to the left foot. Hands can be wherever you want. And press that right thigh bone forward. Hopefully feeling a stretch in the front of your right leg. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, relax everything and bring your legs back center. Walk your legs back center. Your heels are a little closer to your behind. Readjust that neutral spine. And let's start by lifting up the tailbone, and then one bone at a time, lift your hips and back off the mat. And then slowly roll back down and really take your time here, getting a nice massage in your spine. And you can play around, maybe bring those heels in closer as you lift up. So things to watch out for here is as you are lifting and lowering, notice if you're feeling anything in your lower back. Chances are, if you feel anything in the lower or mid back, you're flaring your ribs. I'm not going to demonstrate that today because I want to be gentle on my own back, but if you didn't see a long line from my shoulders to my hips, and you saw a little bow, like a little arch, that would be flaring. So we're just going to take our times. You should feel this mostly below the waist, usually in your glutes and your hamstrings. And you could play around with the distance of where your feet are at. I don't know if you noticed I was doing that. So let's everybody bring your feet closer away from your head. So you're a little further towards the opposite edge of that mat as you lift up. And notice how that feels. It should be pretty easy. And then bring them in so your heels are right under your knees and peel up from here. That's about middle. And peel back down. And then maybe, if it feels okay for you, bring your heels close in and peel up from here. You'll feel this the most. It may not be right for everybody. It's just options. One more and hold it here. Continue to breathe and hold, and maybe lift those hips a little higher, drawing your thigh bones towards each other, and then peel down. It just cramped up. So if you cramp up at all, please stop and release that cramp. So from here, I'd like you to bring your feet back. Actually, before we do that, let's take our hands behind our heads. So you're lacing your fingers like this. And you're going to take your hands behind your head, lift your elbows just about an inch off the floor. As you exhale, think of pressing the bottom part of your rib cage, so the part that sticks up, right before there's nothing there. And as you exhale, press those ribs into the floor to lift your head, neck, and shoulders up, and see if you can allow your head to rest into your hands. And then come back down. Another way you can do this is grab the edges of your yoga mat, and as you exhale, lift the ribs and let your head rest into your hands. And then roll back down. So let's just do a couple more of those. Exhale, press the ribs down, lift the head and shoulders up. Now, if you're okay here, bring your hands behind your hamstrings and lift a little higher. Can you maintain the shoulders off the floor as you bring your hands back to the head and come back down? Let's do that one more time. Exhale, lift, hands behind the hamstrings, lift a little higher, hands behind the head, roll back down. Now another version, your legs come up, exhale, lift a little higher, head rests into the hands, hands behind the hamstrings, lift a little higher, press your feet towards the wall in front of you to slowly roll up. Nice! Now keep holding on to your legs, and I want you to maintain the natural curve of your spine and your shoulder, head, neck, and shoulder alignment. Maintain that as you start from your lower back. So what I see a lot of, and what I'm guilty of, is sometimes I see people doing this. I don't know if you can see the difference of this and this. It's a little difference, but this position alone, I'm feeling more abs than I'm feeling anything else. And then your heels will slowly slide on the mat until you have to lift them as you roll all the way down. And let's do a couple of just those. Lift and roll up. And peel from your lower back to start and roll down. You should feel a nice massage in the stomach. Peel up. Now, if you feel that's not enough for you, sit up with your legs extended and roll back from here. Really feel like you're pressing your feet into the wall in front of you. And lift the arms up and slowly roll like you're rolling. Oh, I popped. Bad. So we're going to very carefully roll back down. Sometimes it helps if somebody's holding your feet, or if you wear tennis shoes, it makes all the difference in the world. So I know I need to work on my spine mobility here. So one more time, come down and lift up. And then from here, place your hands next to your legs. If you're pinching into your hip flexors, go a little wider. And then from here, I just want you to maintain a neutral spine as you walk as far forward as you're able without breaking the neutral spine. So I say neutral spine or flat back, but I don't want you to lose the natural curve of your spine. Everybody should feel your hamstrings. And then come back up and then come back forward. Now another version of this, you want to imagine you're pressing your lower back into a wall. Keep the alignment of the head, neck, and shoulders and really press back as you reach forward. So we're working on, if you're doing Pilates, this is the position for hamstring 1, elephant, tendon stretch, hamstring 3, a whole bunch of exercises where we're working on getting more flexion in the lumbar spine. And then peel yourself right back up. Let's bring our feet to the wider edges of the mat. So we're not going for a big stretch like this. You're about that far apart. Your hands are up. You're sitting tall on your sit bones. Also watch out for the tendency to either curve back or lean forward. I want you right on top of those sit bones. Arms are here, shoulder blades are down. Let's twist to the right from our ribs. So only as far as your ribs will take you. Come center, twist to the left. So we're just going right and left from the rib cage. I always think of a spiral. I think of spiraling up and just going side to side. and then come center. And we're gonna lay onto our right side. Shoulder over the elbow, knees are bent, just to start. And if it feels, I'm gonna bring my knees in a little. If it feels okay to you, you can lift your feet up. Hand, it doesn't matter where it is. I just want you to lift and lower that top leg. You could be on your side. I'd like to feel more support here. So I'm doing 10 on this side. And same thing, you can maintain this or you can just use your arm as a pillow. And we're gonna straighten both legs. Lift your top leg so it's parallel to the floor. I'm gonna prop back up, but you can lay on your side if you want. And we're just gonna draw a tiny little circle with our top leg. So I would say we started with more like a yoga philosophy, and then we've gone right into Pilates. Reverse your circle, and then we're gonna move into more yoga. So now flex that top foot, bring it forward and point it back. Start here, take your time moving through space. So you have a choice whether you're all the way down or all the way up. Keep that leg parallel to the floor. Please don't lift it too high. You'll get into a not so great place in your hips and back. Then if you'd like, you can add the top arm. Then hold it as you bring one foot back and the opposite arm forward. And then come back center. Bend your knees, lay completely onto your right side and hold the back of your head with your hands. Press your shoulders away from your ears and lift up your top elbow. Look at that elbow and think of rolling your shoulder blade to the floor as you roll back. So you may not get all the way down, but the idea is to really feel yourself opening up in your entire spine, feeling an opening in your chest, and take a couple moments here to just breathe. With every breath, see if you could let go a little more. Unwind back center. Extend your top arm forward. You could do whatever you want with the bottom arm. I think I'm going to take my bottom arm here. Reach your top arm like you're trying to touch the wall in front of you, and then bring it to the ceiling. Press your shoulder blade down, look at your hand, and roll back down again. So really making sure everything feels right and good. Take a couple deep breaths here. Unwind. Take your top leg, lift it, and if you can, grab your foot or your ankle with your top hand. If you cannot, use a yoga strap or a belt or something, and then you're going to bring that leg back. And please notice that I am completely parallel to the floor. My leg is not up like this or here. That's usually what I see. I want you here. It'll take a lot of pressure off your back. Now I want you to think of kicking your foot into your hand as you press that thigh bone forward. You should feel a huge stretch in your quadricep. Maybe bring the leg back a little. Take a deep breath, allow that leg to relax into your hand, and then let your leg come down behind you. Slowly roll to your back and find yourself back onto the mat. And then from here, you're going to roll to the other side. I'm going to come up and switch so I'm facing you. So now you're on your left side, and same thing, you're either up here or you're laying down. Legs are bent, you can lift your feet, and we're going to do 10 clams. So we're just going to open and close 10 times. Just 5 more. I was thinking about also with balance, making sure that you're doing everything on one side on the other side. And I have to admit, I'm guilty of forgetting. Come back center. So from here, you can keep your legs bent or you can extend them straight. It's more of a challenge to keep that bottom leg straight. So if you need more stabilization, you can bend that bottom leg. And we're going to circle that top leg 8 times one way and 8 times the other. Move slowly through space. Going fast takes away the work. Did you sink into your shoulder? Can you press up? Flex that foot forward and point that foot back. Flex that foot point and point. And add your arms. And use your breath. And I'm not going to tell you, I just want you to do what's best for you. The next time your leg goes back, your opposite arm goes forward. Get that nice stretch. And then rest so that you are laying on your side. Hold the back of your head with your hands. And reach your elbow up. Press your shoulder blade down. And roll all the way back. So I apologize if you hear a lot of pounding in the background. My husband decided now would be a great time to make peppermint cookies. Take a nice deep breath here. And breathe and let yourself open up. And come back center. And you can stay here, or you can pick whatever version feels good to you. Reach that top arm forward, bring it to the ceiling. I'm going to take a moment here. I didn't say this on the other side, but notice where my arm is. If I were to draw a line from my fingertips to my armpit, you would see that it's like this as opposed to here. And I want you to experiment, feel the difference. You'll notice this feels much better. So now I want you to think of rolling back and aiming that top shoulder blade towards the floor. The tough part here is really maintaining the integrity of your alignment, because what I see a lot of is goal orientation, and we really want to naturally go where we need to go, no forcing. Take a few moments as you breathe. So my bottom hand is keeping my pelvis lined up. Unwind. Rest on that arm if you want. Pick up your top leg with your top hand and bring that leg back. So we want to get to that parallel position. So if you can't stay here parallel, that means you need to use a yoga strap or you need to use a belt or whatever you have. Now from here, I want you to be very mindful of that knee and just think of pressing your foot into your hand as you press the back of that leg forward. You should feel a lot of stretch in the front of your leg. So a lot of times knee pain comes from being too tight in your quadriceps, the front of your thighs. Also your inner thighs. Maybe bring that leg back a little further if that's okay for you. I don't mind telling you this is really tough on me. And then let that leg rest down and roll back to your back. So from here, let's do a couple pelvic tilts. And I'd like you to take another roll up. You can take assisted roll up or full roll up, whatever works for you. And we're going to come to our hands and knees. So we discussed this before I started the video. So for those of you who have been really experiencing a lot of trouble with being on your hands like this, I'd like for you to see if you can do it for a little bit, but if it's really something you were told not to do, don't do it. But you could grab, I only have 5-pound weights, but you could grab like an 8-pound weight is better because then it gives you a little more elevation. And hold on to the weight so that your hand is like this. Sometimes I see people doing this. You want to do like fists for wrists so that you're nice and stable. And you could do it without the weight. You could just do fists for wrists like this, but I think the weight makes it less pressure. If it really, really is annoying or bothering to you, you can come down to your forearms and just be here. But I'd love for you to really think about spreading a little more weight into your hands and widening your fingers so that you can get a little more openness in the forearms. If you'd like, clasp your hands around the opposite elbow and then unwind so you're in the perfect position. Take a moment here, come forward and back. I want you to see if you could find directly over your elbow. Head and neck is neutral, and if you're not doing it on your elbow, you're here. Everybody can do cat and cow. As you exhale, find your cat, work from your lower back. As you inhale, find your cow, work from your upper back. So take your time in cat and cow, working through your entire spine, letting everything flow easily. This is a great time to get back to connection and find the balance of your breath with your movement. So every inhale is one movement, every exhale is the other. You can breathe in whatever way feels the best to you. In yoga, we usually do Ujjayi breathing, breathing through our nose, sending the energy further back into the nasal cavity, going down the back of your throat. It almost sounds like the ocean is your breathing. For Pilates, sometimes we breathe in through our nose and out through our mouths, but whatever is best for you. Okay, so from here, let's just reach your right arm forward and bring it down. Reach your left arm forward and bring it down. Reach your right arm up only as far as it feels okay to you, and then lace it underneath you, looking under your left arm. Now there's a couple options here. I'm going to flip around so I can see you. So from here, notice that my hips are over my knees. I'm actually laying on the outside of my right shoulder, and my left arm is helping me balance. We want to keep our hips lined up, no pressure on the knees, and if you cramp up, you can do whatever you need to do. Now from here, if you're feeling inspired, you can take your left arm behind you for a bind. This may not be for you. It's not my favorite, but today I'm encouraging myself to go for it. Take a moment here and take a couple breaths. Now, if you feel like you want more of a challenge, begin to straighten out your right leg. If you feel pretty good here, lift your right leg and then come back down. Unwind, press up, and again, wherever it's best for you. This time, take your right foot back and your ball of your foot is on the floor. Press back into that heel. It should feel really good. Come back center and switch. Left foot back, press into that heel. Come back center and switch. This time, right foot back, lift the toes, reach to the wall behind you, and then reach your left arm forward. Lengthen as if you're trying to touch those opposite walls, and feel as you press your right hand into the mat, yourself lifting higher. And then come back down. I just cramped up, so notice what I do to uncramp the hamstring. Come back center and send your left foot back. Point the toe, lift the leg, keep the hips even. This time, let's see if you can press both hands into the floor to feel a levitating sensation. And then reach your right arm forward. See if that's a little better for you. Really feel as if somebody is pulling you in opposite direction. One person's pulling your hand, the other's pulling your foot. And lengthen up and come back down. Then from here, walk both hands to the right side of your mat and send both hips to the back left corner. And I'm hoping you're feeling a really nice stretch in the left side of your body. Can you allow yourself to just be and naturally unwind, open up, and breathe? With every exhale, continue to let go. Come back up and switch sides. Both hands to the left, both hips to the right. Breathe. Feel everything opening up. And come back center. And then from here, walk your hands. Okay, same thing. You can bring your forearms to the mat. I'm going to try fist for wrist just to see what it feels like. Curl your toes under and find out. I don't like that. So I don't know, it might be better with weights. But you could either just do downward facing dog, or if it's better for you, you can do it on your forearms. It's a lot more intense into the hamstrings. And then come back down. Everybody come all the way down to the mat. Place your hands by your armpits, forehead on the mat. Shoulder blades in imaginary pockets. Feel your belly button reaching the spine. Feet could be as wide as it feels right to you. And gently lift only up as much as it feels okay. And then come back down. So we're going to try a few of these. The only thing I definitely don't want you to feel is pain in the lower back or overarching in the lower back. This is more about getting thoracic extension. And this is both yoga and Pilates. This is the beginning of swan or upward facing dog. Right now we're in cobra, or I forget what it's called. So cobra and yoga. So from here, if you feel like you can maintain the arch in your upper back but not get into your lower back, this is full swan or upward facing dog. And then slowly come back down. If that felt good to you and you want to do one more, go for it. And then if it feels good to you, you can come back into a downward facing dog. And then slowly come back down towards your knees and widen your knees, and we're going to take child's pose. So if you do have issues with your knees, you can roll up a towel under your knees, or you can just sort of see how it feels to you as you come back nice and slow, allowing yourself to open up, and you're getting into the lower back, letting everything release. And then come back up. And we're going to all come back to laying on our backs. Actually, I'm sorry. Let's.
Mary, did we thread the needle on the left side?
We did not. Thank you for reminding me. So let's do that. So let's come back. I got into something else and I totally forgot. So we're going to come back here. And we're going to be on our hands and knees. And we're going to lift the left arm up and lace it underneath you. Speaking of balance, legs are together and your hips are over your knees. This right arm could be wherever it feels best to you, and pick up that right arm to see if a bind works. Take a moment here and decide if you'd like to extend that right leg back and lift it. Worst thing that'll happen is you'll fall on your left side. And then bend the knee in, and it's really a short fall. Bring your hand to the floor and come back up. Thank you so much for reminding me. So now we're gonna all have a sitting position. So we're gonna go right to Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Your hands can be on your ankles, your feet, whatever feels good to you. Reach your knees towards the floor and release. And come down and release. One more time, come down and grab your ankles or your feet to lean forward. I love the image of your feet are like the pages of a very interesting book. And then come back up to sitting. And let's just extend out our right leg. Your left leg is here. If you feel too much pressure in your knee, put a yoga block or something under your knee to protect it. We're going to sit nice and tall as you reach your left arm up. Shoulder blade is in its imaginary pocket. So if your arm's like this, you're not in the right position. You want to keep it so there is space. Then we're going to imagine those bottom ribs again lifting as we reach up and over that right leg. And hopefully you're feeling a really nice stretch in the left side of your body. And you're going only as far as it feels good to you. Let's take a couple breaths here. If you feel pretty good here and you want a little more, think of rotating back a little. Chest towards the sky. And then come back up, and we're going to switch sides. So now your left leg is straight and your right leg is bent, and you're sitting nice and tall, and you're reaching your right arm to the sky. So just for fun, bring your arm next to your shoulder, and then think of what your shoulder blade looks like as you press it away from your ear. And then we're going to lift up and reach over. So it's really a lifting here and a stretch here as we come up and over. So there's a huge difference between what I'm doing and going like this. So I get it. I understand that's the old way we used to do things. This is nicer on your spine. So we're protecting our spines. And then maybe open up your right bicep behind you a little. And then press to come up. And then we're going to finish with our yoga, Bikram yoga style sequence. So this is a good place to get your strap or whatever it is that helps you stretch. So I want everybody to lay on their backs and start by hugging your right knee into about 2 inches below the knee and just bringing your right knee towards your right armpit. And you're allowing your shoulders to relax as you let your leg rest into your hands and start little tiny circles again. And reverse it. So when I've taken Bikram yoga, I'm not certified in it or anything, but I've taken many classes. The instruction was keep both hands hugging about 2 inches below your knee, so you're right at the shin bone. And they say, they've done many studies, that this helps with your digestive system. So right now we're working on the upper GI tract. Take nice deep breaths. And you have a couple choices here. So you could put the strap under your foot, or you could grab your right big toe with your right index finger and middle finger, and we're going to lengthen that leg up. Now, if you feel yourself contorting to get here, you need to use something to help you so that you're not overdoing anything. And then let your left hand rest on your left thigh, and on your next exhale, press that foot into your hands as you lift up. So the actual help is coming from your leg. And then inhale as you come down and aim your right foot towards the right side. Keep a nice stretch in the back of that right leg. You're feeling your hamstring, possibly your inner thigh. As you exhale, bring that leg back center and just cross your right foot so it's right over your left hip bone. Notice where my left hip bone is. It's on top. It's not here. Then bend that right knee. Keep both shoulders on the floor and cross your right leg to the left side. And then turn your head to look over your right shoulder. My hope is you feel yourself decompressing. So you'll see I'm pressing my hand down a little to get more room in my spine. And then I'm just gonna lay here and breathe as I look over my right shoulder. Everything feels really nice. I feel like I'm unwinding. Now I'm gonna add something, I'm gonna call it half frog, and it's sort of a variation on frog in yoga. So what we're gonna do, you see your right leg is bent. Only if this works for you. You're gonna roll to your left side, and we're gonna come so that your right leg is bent, your left leg is straight. Now this is a real easy variation of this. We're not putting any strain on ourselves. Everything should feel pretty good. You're getting inner thigh and hamstring. Now, if you want to do full half frog, does that make sense? You come up here and you have your leg, actually I can only do full frog. Both legs are out and you come out to the side like this. My hips are right in the middle of my knees and I'm only going as far as it feels safe for me. You're getting inner thighs. Very carefully, however you want to get out of that. And we're going to come right back to our backs. Believe it or not, that's a really good stretch for your knees. So from here, take your right ankle and cross it over your left thigh and aim that right knee away from your head and rock a little side to side. So if you feel your knee, you've gone too far, we're really working on opening up the hips. Come center, and as you exhale, lift your left leg off the floor, let your left foot relax, and gently bring that leg in and only as far as it feels good to you. If you can easily wrap your hands around your left shin, go for it. It gives you a little more sensation. And take a couple breaths here. Wherever you've decided is the edge of your movement, we'll all take it a little deeper by tilting our legs an inch to the left. You should feel a deep stretch in that right hip area. Come back center. Unwind your right leg to the floor and hug your left knee into your chest. Circle your left leg in tiny little circles and reverse it. And then from here, grab your left big toe with your index finger and middle finger, or use the strap to extend your left leg straight. Your right hand is on your right thigh, and as you exhale, press your foot into your hand to lift up. As you inhale, come back down and open up that left leg to the left side. Really keeping that right hip down, and then cross midline and just cross so that your right foot is right above your right hip. Then bend your left knee, keep both shoulders on the floor as you cross your left leg to the right side. Your head turns and looks over your left shoulder. If you'd like, you could give yourself a little assist to make sure your spine is nice and lengthened. Take a nice deep inhale, exhale and wind a little deeper. And if you'd like, you can roll completely over so that you do the half frog on this side. Or you can skip it, whatever works for you. I'm not going to go into the full frog on this side. And in a way, it could be balanced It could not. It depends on your perspective. In my opinion, I've already done the full frog. It's equal on both sides. I don't need to do it twice. And then unwind and roll back and take your left ankle and cross it over your right thigh and aim that knee away from you. If it feels good, pick your right leg off the floor. Let your right leg rest into your hands. I want you to take a moment and notice the way my right leg is resting. A lot of times when I'm teaching, I see this. It's not wrong, but notice the difference when you let it go. You'll notice that you get more in the left area, the left side. If you want to go a little deeper, hands around your right shin. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, release a little more. If you want to go a little deeper, tilt your legs an inch to the right. I'm hoping you feel that right side. This should address one of the requests that I got this morning. Unwind. And then from here, come into happy baby. Grab your big toes with your index fingers and middle fingers. You're going to aim your knees to the floor by your armpits and your tailbone to the floor. I realize that not everybody can do this, so another option is to just wrap your hands around your hamstrings, or you can take an individual strap on each side and use that. Like you could use something to help you. Whatever works for you. If you can, I'd love for you to release in the hips so we're not gripping anywhere. I'm rocking side to side because it feels good. It's not required. And then you can unwind yourself. Now, I recommend getting something to put under your knees, a rolled up towel, a foam roller. You're fine no matter what you've chosen. You could sit up tall. We're going to come into a Shavasana. So it's our final relaxation. Our shoulder blades are down. Our palms are up. And I'm just going to guide you through a little balanced meditation. So just be and take a moment and feel how you're feeling. And just keep your focus on your breath. Notice the inhale. Notice the exhale. Notice how it feels as you breathe. Notice where your awareness in your mind to your body is. So as you exhale, begin to let go again of all those things that don't serve you. It could be whatever it is for you. And as you continue to let go of the emotional things that don't serve you, begin to let go of the physical things that don't serve you. Notice if you're clenching or you're holding on to tension anywhere. In fact, take one moment and clench and tense everything, and then as you inhale, release. And exhale, release a little more. So if you notice yourself holding on, a nice way to release is to first tighten everything as much as possible and then allow everything to go. Now to balance out letting go of what we don't need, begin to inhale things that serve you. Joy, love, wonderful good health, wonderful energy, peace. Whatever works for you. Strength. So as you continue to breathe in the good stuff and exhale the stuff that isn't needed, I want you to start changing your breath flow and your focus to inhaling and imagining the ocean and see those waves coming into shore, and exhaling and see them going back out to sea. Now you can do this on your own for as long as you like. But for now, we're just going to take a couple more breaths, inhaling and exhaling. And if you find yourself thinking of other things like what you're going to have for breakfast or what's coming next, just bring yourself back to the breath and the thought. The next time the ocean goes back to sea, thank it for helping you anchor in the moment. And as you inhale, take the deepest stretch that feels right and good to you while you're on the floor. And as you exhale, bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a hug, rocking a little side to side. And for today, I'm going to ask, just for today, let your legs drop to the left. Press your right hand to the floor in front of you to help you come into a comfortable sitting position. And make sure it's comfortable. If you need to prop yourself up or sit on a chair, whatever is best for you. We're going to unite our individual self with our universal self and rest our hands on our thighs. Allow your shoulders to press down as you grow tall. And take a moment here and just feel everything we've accomplished today. So before we completely finished, I had one more request. So I want you to squeeze your hands as tight as you can and then open them really wide. Squeeze your hands as tight as you can, open them. Let's do one more. Really squeeze and open, and bring your thumbs to your hearts in Anjali Mudra. Shoulders are down. Take a little bow as you gaze at your fingertips. I wish you all love, peace, joy, wonderful good health, and balance always. Namaste. And I thank you all so much. I'm going to turn off the camera. I have a couple minutes. So thank you all for tuning in.